New York City, home to 8 million people, 3 million rats, and a billion ideas. It's a magnet for people who want more, their own personal New York dream. But to make it here is not easy. The streets are packed, the apartments small, the cost of living high. To survive, hustling is a non-negotiable. Let's take a trip to the vibrant hustle capital of America.
New York City, there's a special kind of energy here. It's always vibrant and hectic. Everything moves faster. I always find myself walking faster. And it really feels like anything is possible, which I think is what draws a lot of people to the city. And it's not hard to feel like you're in the center of the world. We're in Times Square, which is a center of entertainment and tourism and commerce. It's what many think epitomizes New York City. But the funny thing is, if you actually talk to New York locals, they wouldn't be caught dead here, or they'll be doing their best to try to avoid it. And that's because it's kind of a shit show. It's crowded, it's noisy, it's dirty. But love it or hate it, it is impressive, you have to admit, and it's worth coming here quickly to visit at least one time.
Times Square is all about American excess, and hustle culture is on full display. Musicians, photographers, and street performers flock here, all aiming to captivate and earn money from the endless stream of tourists.
Out here in Times Square, the biggest hustlers are the street dancers. So every day you come out here, you'll see a group of them performing in a circle. They gather everyone around them and then they tease you. They tease you, they tease you. They're like, we're about to do something really cool. And then they bring out the tip bucket and they go around. And then that trick never really comes. But you know, you gotta respect the hustle. They're doing what they gotta do to survive in New York City.
Everybody hold your donations on me, and whatever you do not leave like that. She's not this girl.
They're getting 10 or 20 bucks from all of these guys. They know exactly what they're doing.
And there are many more hustlers of all types putting in work in Times Square.
So how often do you come out here?
Now, for the past 8 years, I've been here every Sunday. But I share Jesus every day in a different ways.
Do you find that people are pretty open to your message out here?
Some are not. Jesus, the prophets before him and the apostles, they got killed because they spoke the truth.
And we were not immune to paying some money and acquiring a little Times Square souvenir of our own.
We're in Bushwick, Brooklyn, and as soon as you get off the subway, you're hit with really strong hipster vibes. This used to be an industrial, affordable neighborhood, and in the past few years, it's really exploded and gentrified, and it comes with everything you might expect in a gentrified hip neighborhood. You've got the coffee shops, the thrift stores, the open-air breweries, but it's quite a cool vibe here. I'm appropriately drinking my $5 cold brew coffee, which perversely is actually affordable nowadays. In most places in the US, an iced coffee is going for like $8 or $9.
You can feel the creativity in the air in Bushwick. You see it in the industrial architecture that has been reclaimed and revitalized, in what people are wearing, and in the street art all over the neighborhood. Vibrant murals have transformed Bushwick into an open-air art gallery. It's not hard to see why artists, DJs, and other creative types are so drawn here. We're here to meet Amaya, a young model and longtime Bushwick local. The modeling industry in New York City is one of the most dynamic and competitive in the world, and Amaya is one of the many young girls who make the pilgrimage to pursue their dreams.
So you've been living in Bushwick for a while now. What originally brought you here?
When I left high school, I came here from modeling. I got offered a contract and they told me with the contract, they have a place for me to live. And they showed me like this beautiful 1-bedroom apartment in the Lower East Side, a walk away from Soho. And when I arrived, it was totally different. It was a model house of like 4 girls to each room. So 8 of us in like a 500 square foot apartment.
So it's like a dorm room for models, kind of.
Even worse than a dorm room.
And it didn't live up to the pictures?
No.
Like, was it like a shithole?
It was like a shithole. My mom dropped me off at the door and she was like, if you want to turn back around, we could go right back. And I was like, no, I'm staying here. And I've been here ever since.
So you're living in these model apartments, you're like 18 years old. So what's life looking like at this point?
I remember coming here with just like $100 in my pocket, and downstairs, right next to the CVS, was this Spanish spot, and they had $2 rice. So I was living off of that. I was like, quarters, $2 rice, yes, that's all I need. In the modeling industry, it can be a very unhealthy environment sometimes. I was like, I don't need to eat anyways because I need to be skinny and tiny and small. So we were kind of just running around the city, going to castings, might have 5 castings a day all over the city.
And how's modeling going now?
Modeling's going well now. Yeah, I'm signed in New York and LA and Paris and London and Milan. So I get to travel all over and see new places.
Okay, Amaya, so you're a natural in front of the camera. Can you show us a little bit of what you do during work?
Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna do a runway walk. Donnie, you're gonna do this too.
I'm gonna do this too, okay.
Okay, let's start behind the line.
Okay.
And then you just look straight forward.
Okay.
See those balloons?
Yes.
And you walk with attitude, like nobody can f with you.
Okay.
And you stomp.
Okay, we stomp.
Stomp loud, but I think a good runway walk is power.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? It's May and we're still in jackets here in New York.
Exactly.
I look at all you fools and I'm like, my stomach hard knock, either way your niggas soon. I ain't dropping LP, but I can make it from the news, bro. I'm just down that room, but it was having a
The subway during rush hour. Starting at 8 a.m. and 4 p.m., the city's lightning pace reveals itself on crowded platforms and packed trains. People are both en route to work and actively at work. No matter who you are, rich, poor, young, old, rush hour on the subway is the great equalizer. Everyone is in it together. The New York Rat. 3 million of them currently roam the bustling streets. An adult rat can squeeze through holes or gaps 1 inch wide, jump a horizontal distance of up to 4 feet, survive a fall from almost 40 feet, and tread water for 3 days. They are indestructible, and perhaps more than anything else, emblematic of the hustle culture of New York.
Donut Rat treats his women better than half you other rats.
Buddy is the brainchild of performance artist Jonathan Lyons, a giant anthropomorphic rat that appears in iconic locations around New York City. Buddy thrills and delights onlookers, and his performances have repeatedly gone viral.
So how did you end up as the most famous rat in New York City?
Well, I work in live theater in New York. I do off-Broadway shows. I had an idea a few years ago to make a rat character, and I tried my hand at sculpting with clay and using paper mache, and I came up with this mask. And then in 2020, everything was shut down, and I decided it was time to start doing this as a street performance, and it picked up steam.
And what do you think rats mean to New York City?
Well, they're everywhere. You see them in the subway all the time. You'll run across them in trash bags, and it's just kind of deep part of the New York cultural history. They are a health issue, so obviously I'm not advocating that we have to have rats around. I just think it's a little silly, the government anti-rat programming of the last few years, because the problem is really food waste and litter.
And tell me about the physical aspect of being a rat. Because you're on all fours.
A lot of crawling. It's very exhausting. It's really a lot of impact on my knees and my thighs. So I try to limit it to no more than an hour in a given day. I can usually keep that up about once a day, but if I go too hard, I risk injuring my knees.
So why do you do it? Do you have a message?
Yeah, there's kind of two components. Today is all about tackling the litter problem in New York and food waste. And then the broader concept of the piece is summed up in the phrase, people are animals too. And it's because when I'm performing this, you can't help but see the animal nature of yourself as a human being.
Awesome, I love it. So you're hustling for the art, hustling for the people, hustling for the cleanliness of your city,
Exactly.
doing it all. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It was a
of
great
course.
performance.
All right, so maybe.
Do you think you and your friends are misunderstood by people in New York? We're at a dollar slice shop, and pizzerias like this are really iconic in New York City. It's simple counter service, very quick, very cheap, and people from all walks of life come here. You have students, you have workers, you have drunk people stumbling out of the bar at 2 a.m. looking to battle off their hangovers, and it's really emblematic to the fast-paced hustle and bustle of New York City. So we get a slice of pepperoni and a slice of white. We got 2 pieces of pizza and it came out to $6.50, so not exactly $1. The dollar mostly applies to the plain cheese slice, and we got a pepperoni and a white, and it's looking good. The quality of the slice is sometimes questionable. This one's pretty good, but that's not really the point. The point is you come here to get a cheap meal that's filling, or you come here at 2 a.m. when you're drunk to battle off tomorrow's hangover. The dollar slice is really interesting because in New York City, it's not exactly an affordable place to live. It's actually absurdly expensive. Yet actually, for the most part, you can get by on a pretty cheap food budget. You won't be eating healthy, but you can get by. And that's enabled by high foot traffic, urban density, and people supporting establishments like this. And of course, there's a lot of competition as well. So in New York, it's all about the hustle culture, and people work long hours and incredibly hard. But then after work, there's a ton of amazing options to unwind, all forms of entertainment. There's art, music, parties, all sorts of events. Right now, we're at a jazz bar called Django, and it's Parisian style. The ambiance is amazing, and we're gonna have dinner and see some jazz.
New York City is a place that is constantly changing. Neighborhoods gentrify or fall into disrepair. Faces change as people arrive from all over the world. In this backdrop, Katz's Deli remains gloriously the same. It's one of the few places in New York where you can still experience the taste and atmosphere of the old Lower East Side.
So at Katz's, you order counter service, you get in this merry line that's big all the time and do your thing.
Katz's has been well known for a long time, and numerous celebrities have come here seeking its notoriously thick pastrami sandwiches. One will run you $27, which is preposterous no matter which way you cut it, but they do give you a piece of pastrami as consolation. So there's that.
I'm so excited, I'm starving. Awesome. Okay. We ordered the classic Reuben sandwich. It's made by stacking up layer upon layer of pastrami and topped with melted cheese. Look at that, it's beautiful. It's so good. The meat's really fatty and savory. You've got a little sourness from the kraut and a little sweetness from the sauce. It's amazing. Sometimes things are popular for a reason. We also got some potato latkes. These are fried potato pancakes. They're classic Ashkenazi Jewish food. Take some, dip it in cream cheese, I believe. And cheers.
The relentless pace of New York is not for everyone. The city constantly tests you, making sure you really want to be here. But if you can handle it, there's nowhere else quite like it. The feeling that anything is possible, that if you work just a little bit harder, you can achieve anything you want. That's what draws people here, and that's what makes the hustle worth it.